Hello, hello. Thank you for watching. Let's keep this primary source train rolling because I got ideas for days. And hopefully my new tripod will be here soon because I know the Blair Witch effect is not good. I am putting my periscopes on my YouTube channel, so check that out. I'm in the process of sorting them out. I just jumped on Facebook Live and did a broadcast in my social studies group about and on my page with some general resources for Hispanic Heritage Month. So check that out. And if you are a person who teaches anyone social studies, whether homeschooling wise or in the classroom, then you are welcome to join my group Social Studies Salute. That's enough of a commercial for that. I am Andrea Reynolds. I'm a former classroom teacher turned full-time social studies whisperer. My website is thesocialstudieswhisperer.com. I believe strongly in making history hip and using creative and engaging activities to get kids' attention and connecting the past to the present and making content relevant and so that each kid in the class or whoever you're teaching feels connected to the content. I just explained on Facebook Live that besides my passion for American history and talking and writing, I'm also ESOL certified, which is English as a second language in my county. I'm also gifted certified, so I have had a lot of practice with modifying instruction for different ages and different levels of kids, because I also have Montessori training too, so I'm able to easily take a topic and like figure out some easy tweaks to make it more comprehensible for different levels of kids. So whoops, yes, sorry, I just wanted to knock my lamp off the table. Yesterday my friend Tania asked for some suggestions for Hispanic Heritage Month because maybe you're not aware that it is Hispanic Heritage Month, because I think a lot of the news right now is all about the political stuff. So make sure that you are, acknowledging it, whether it applies to your culture or not, because I've said this before, I feel like all year should be Constitution Day, all year should be Black History Month, all year should be Hispanic Heritage Month, all year should be Women's History Month, all year should be Veterans Day. We shouldn't just have special occasions for them, but that's my opinion. That's not how everyone teaches, so make sure that you're doing something. I have a lot of activities that I did when I was in the classroom that I'm going to share more of. I'm going to write a blog post about them, but I don't have that together yet. So I wanted to come on here and show how I would start a lesson with a primary source in an unexpected way, because I like to, one of my posts on my website, my favorite one, because I just like the title, is like The Art of the Teacher Hustle, Social Studies Teacher Hustle. It's about how you can like hoodwink your kids, like just by semantics, just by like calling things a mystery or, using colored paper or cute fonts, and kids think they're doing something awesome. So I like to start a lesson by, saying, oh, I have a mystery word or something like that. So I have a little guessing game for you. Okay, so like I said, I just talked about some other resources on Facebook Live. Okay, so I've talked about these Windows notes. I use this all the time in the classroom, all the time. Facts, feelings, questions, connections. And I would be happy to email you this template if you would like. Eventually I'm going to put this in my store, but for now I don't have it in there, so you can contact me on my website or wherever and I will be happy to send it to you. But I mean, it's really not that hard to recreate. This is based on learning styles that are in a book called The Strategic Teacher, that I can talk about more another time. It has to do with like different learning styles like mastery, self-expressive. This one is my brain. And I really like this because I know with my population of my students, in the county where I live, in the school I worked at, it was predominantly Hispanic. So when you're doing something about Hispanic Heritage Month, of course, a lot of the kids in the class are going to have feelings and they're going to have connections. And if you have older students, they're going to have a lot of feelings about, you know, racial profiling, because it happens when families are pulled over in the car, because I had 5th graders talk about it and they recognize it. So, they're also like, they're going to have a lot of connections right now because of the whole talk with Trump building the wall and stuff like that. So instead of them interrupting a lesson by asking a million questions, or you know, getting worked up about something, or like, oh, I saw, this is what kills me when kids are like, oh, I saw a movie about that. Well, this is why I use this. And I had them glue it in their interactive notebook. I use this for everything we talked about. And whenever I had one kid in one of my classes that would raise his hand like every other second, and he would ask the most bizarre, random questions. And this was my total say, write in your Windows notes, write in your Windows notes. So this was like my BFF last year that I learned about in the gifted endorsement. And it works perfectly fine with ESOL kids and all levels of kids. You can have them just pick one box or whatever. So, if the topic applies to them, then, like if they are Hispanic, then they're probably going to want to do the connections box. So, and the questions, I mean, they might write down, like, why did it start, or who started it, and that ties into this activity. So here is a primary source that I would use to start a lesson, okay? So I would give kids the Windows notes. And a lot of the time I didn't even copy it. I just had them draw it in their notebook. It took like 2 seconds and it was saved copies. So I would have kids look at this picture and say, like, whose dogs do you think these might be? And if they look, I'm talking about dogs, my dog's coming over here. And also, you can have, or I would say maybe like write down, like I would say a quick grade, give them like 5 minutes, and they would use the Windows notes or just underneath it and just write down, like, what do you notice about this picture? And of course they're probably going to notice that these aren't photographs from 2016, are they? Okay, and a lot of times I would say, what do you think these dogs have to do with Hispanic Heritage Month? And that really gets them like, like maybe these belong to Cesar Chavez or something, or they're gonna be like curious and they're gonna want to know more. And of course, this is something that I try to pick something that would work with like primary level kids too, because a lot of the primary sources that you find, they're for older kids. And like I said, a primary source does not have to be you analyzing the Declaration of Independence. It can just be a picture. And so, spoiler, and I just copied and pasted this. Now, I'm not trying to sell this. I'm just using it for instructional purposes. So I copy and paste stuff from the internet all the time. But of course, if I'm posting it for sale, I make sure I have, you know, included the proper accreditation for it. Okay, so the answer to that is, who knows? Anybody know? Those are Lyndon B. Johnson's dogs from his presidency. And I learned from Pinterest that Lyndon B. Johnson was the person who enacted Hispanic Heritage Month. So I fact-checked myself. That's something that I pinned. That's why I showed my Pinterest boards on Facebook Live, because I pinned that infographic, and it's really good. It's a really good one to show to students. So what I did is, once I found that out, I knew that there was a Lyndon B. Johnson Presidential Library. Okay, I've been talking about the National Archives. I keep tagging them on Twitter. I'm like, hope maybe one day they'll like watch it and want me to do a national broadcast for them. Probably not. But so I started with the National Archives, and one more time, I'm going to show you how to find the presidential libraries. Hopefully, I am getting you thinking about more ways to use them and more ways to use primary sources. So archives.gov is presidential libraries. And it's the National Archives, okay? And this is where I went yesterday, yada, yada, yada. Presidential libraries right down here. And I went to Lyndon B. Johnson. Talked about Jimmy Carter already this week. I talked about Harry Truman Library, and I alluded to the Franklin Roosevelt Library too. But check out Lyndon B. Johnson, because you might be like, why would I ever need to look at him? Well, he actually did a lot for civil rights and voting rights, more than you would think. So what I did is I basically, like this one is a little organized a little bit differently than the other one, so it's a little harder to find the like primary source documents. But what I did is I went to education, of course. Actually, I kind of just clicked on everything, to tell you the truth. Group activities, workshops. I did not click on, what did I click on? Oh, and you can find, like, on this day in history, like, when he was in office, you can find out exactly what he was doing. Okay, so after I said photos, educational resources. So after I use that picture, I would, like I said, I would have kids guess like what they think it's for, and I wouldn't necessarily tell them. I would say like this, I would, and depending on the age of your kids, you could say, okay, these dogs belong to the president who first started, who put Hispanic Heritage Month into practice. Or, you know, you could just say these dogs had something to do with Hispanic Heritage Month, and then try to have your kids guess what they have to do with it by the end of the lesson. And then the connections, like you could tie in, you could show a picture. If you wanted to start it another way, what you could do is you could find a picture of President Obama's pets. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he has a dog. And say, like, these are President Obama's pets. Every president has had, I mean, I don't know if every president, you could say, like, a lot of the presidents bring their pets with them to the White House. And if we go back in time, then during the 1960s, blah, 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 President Johnson was in office, and these are his pets. And then that way you tie in the connections between the past and the present. Because the kids, they're not going to know who Lyndon B. Johnson is. I think it's so weird that Lyndon B. Johnson is in the 3rd grade curriculum for Georgia. Like, there's a bunch of random biographies, and like they have to know the New Deal and stuff like that. So if you tie in like things that the kids are gonna know, it's gonna be so much more meaningful. So here's where I found the pictures. Okay, there's a thing on here. It's like an artifact of the day, and if they're younger kids are gonna want to look at photos more than they're gonna want to look at documents, obviously. Okay, and pictures of artifacts, not just like photographs. So let me see if I can backtrack and find this. I didn't look through photos. What I did is first of all, I just like searched for Hispanic Heritage Month stuff, and there was some stuff on there, but I thought it would be kind of cool once I found the artifact of the day part to show something that belonged to him. So, and there are different, instead of just using the Windows notes like I showed you, there are all kinds of different like graphic organizers to use to have kids analyze primary sources. And it looks like there are some free ones on here. And I don't know if they're specific to him, but I know there's some on Teachers Pay Teachers. But like I said, I just like the Windows notes because it took like 5 minutes. Wow, there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. This is not where I found, this was a, okay, so what I did, this is what I clicked on. I clicked on, like I said, when I go on a website, I like to click on every single button. So I just clicked on exhibits and was like, so there's lots of stuff on here about civil rights because, of course, he signed until he finished out the work that John F. Kennedy Jr. had started and, you know, signed some pretty important legislation while he was in office. So I don't know why that looks like that. It's weird. But if you go to artifact of the day, it's up here. Where did it go? Exhibits, artifact of the week. Exhibits, artifact of the week. Then right here. I just scrolled through here because I was like, oh, kids are not going to look at that and be like, who's that old man? That's not interesting, right? So I just scrolled through and I was like, oh, dogs. Kids like dogs. And then there's like gifts given to him by other like world leaders. But you could do, I thought about using maybe like the Longhorns. Now this would be a good one. Boxing gloves signed by Muhammad Ali. So you could show any of these pictures. There's dog collar, you know what little kids, if you're using primary sources for little kids, anything involving pets or food is going to be effective for them. So like I said, that's just a way that you can just tie in a primary source. And I would just call them like, I wouldn't say I'm doing a lesson hook to my students. I would say we're going to do a quick rate, and I would just put, I had a projector, and I would just put the picture up on the screen, and the kids would write about it. I would say quick write, like give them 5 minutes, and then I would have them share like what they thought it was about. Now, the good thing is, if you do have newcomers to your class that don't speak English, then they can write about the picture. They can write about what they see in their own language. So that's something that all kids, if it's just a picture, everyone can participate. That's why I like using pictures the most, or music. If it's like a document with a lot of print, then there are going to be some kids based on like their ability level or reading level that are going to be excluded. And a picture you could use with everybody. So that's just, and then I would go into like maybe showing them the infographic that I talked about, or go into Hispanic Heritage Month. But that really, like just showing them that picture, that would take less than 10 minutes. And that's something that, even if your curriculum is not tied to cultural diversity at all, that's just kind of like a common practice that you should be doing as an educator, whether you're a home educator or you're in the classroom, because it's important to encourage and promote tolerance and diversity. This is my personal opinion, which I believe that opinion should be everyone's. Like I said, 5 minutes. You can take 5 minutes. You could do that at the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month, which is already the beginning, or you could do it tomorrow and say, look, did you know that it's currently Hispanic Heritage Month, and blah, blah, blah. Go from there. So thank you for watching. I hope that this gave you an idea, or, sparked your own ideas. I feel strongly about not telling people what they should do. I tell people like what I do, and hope that it sparks like something that will work for you, or maybe will remind you of an activity that you did years ago or something. So thank you for watching, and let me turn this around so it does not do a thumbnail of my face. So let's put it back on the doggy picture, because that was just cute. Okay, so thank you for watching, and like I said, if you have any specific requests for types of primary sources you would like to see, let me know. This broadcast is inspired by my friend Tania, who asked me about stuff for Hispanic Heritage Month. So just let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.